All right, welcome back everyone to the deep dive. Today we're going to be looking at something pretty familiar. I mean, I bet most of you have seen these guys countless times.
Yeah, they're practically a staple, right?
Yeah, guppies. Those little flashes of color you almost always see in beginner aquarium setups.
Hmm.
But we're not here to just talk about their pretty tails today.
No, we're going deeper.
We're going a little deeper, right? We've got this blog post we're going to be looking at came out pretty recently, March 18th, 2025. It's called Notes on Fishkeeping, Part 92. Guppies needs open surface, and you can find it over at kianamm.org. And what's great about this isn't some super scientific paper or anything.
Right, it's much more grounded.
It's a seasoned fish keeper, someone who's
Yeah.
been doing this for a while, just sharing their observations. And honestly, sometimes those are the most valuable insights you can get.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And that's something you see so often in hobbies, in niche communities, I guess. You have all this practical knowledge, these little tips and tricks that develop outside of any sort of, formal research setting.
Oh, for sure.
And that's what makes this blog so interesting. The author's name is Ang, and they describe themselves as an old software plumber. I mean, that alone tells you there's a whole world of experience there.
It does, yeah.
And it's not just fish keeping. They're into gardening, photography, open source software.
Wow, yeah.
And then, of course, fish keeping. This is actually part 92 of their Notes on Fish Keeping series. So they've been at this for a while.
Yeah, this is a long-running thing.
Yeah. You're getting insights that have been refined and tested over time.
Exactly, exactly. And in this particular post, Ang shares this seemingly simple observation, but the more you think about it, it has some pretty big implications for how we care for guppies.
Oh, yeah. This is a good one.
So they noticed that their guppies were consistently feeding right at the water surface, especially in these makeshift feeding rings they created, just using like a repurposed flower pot grip. And on top of that, the guppies were also just like regularly grazing on the open water surface. So you see this, and the immediate thought is,
Well, it just really drives home this idea that they are, at their core, surface feeders.
yeah, it really does.
I mean, their mouths, if you look at them, they're often upturned, which isn't exactly ideal for, like, scavenging at the bottom of the tank.
Right.
And Ang's observation, it just provides this really compelling real-world evidence for that.
Right.
And it makes you think about, their natural environment. What would they be eating in the wild?
Yeah, that's a good question.
Probably small insects, larvae, things that have fallen onto the water surface.
Right.
So it adds this whole other layer to what seems like a simple act of feeding.
Yeah, that's a really fascinating point about their natural diet.
Yeah.
And it makes total sense that their feeding habits in our tanks would reflect those natural instincts. And for our listeners, whether you've been keeping aquariums forever or you're just starting out, maybe thinking about getting a few guppies, this isn't just some random detail. This goes right to the heart of their well-being.
Exactly.
If they're geared towards surface feeding, then we need to be thinking about whether our tank setups are actually making that easy for them.
It raises this really important question about the environments we're creating.
Mm.
Are we, like, accidentally hindering their natural behaviors?
Mhm.
Think about, like, a heavily planted tank, lots of floating vegetation covering the entire surface,
Mhm.
or maybe a thick film of biofilm. And while those things might have other benefits, Ang's observations suggest we need to make sure there's still clear access to the water's surface.
Right, yeah. It's all about finding that balance.
Absolutely.
And it makes you wonder if providing that open surface isn't just about making it easier for them to physically eat, but maybe it also reduces their stress levels or reduces competition for food.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting thought. Aang even mentions that this consistent surface feeding seemed to correlate with less overfeeding issues,
Oh, that's interesting.
which, anyone who's kept fish knows that can be a problem.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
If they're constantly nipping at the surface, maybe they're regulating their intake more naturally throughout the day.
Yeah, that's a really interesting potential benefit.
It is.
And it really highlights the value of what might seem like casual observation.
Mm-hmm.
Aang isn't, like, conducting a controlled experiment here. They're just paying attention to what's happening in their aquarium.
Right, yeah.
But these kinds of firsthand accounts can be so insightful. They contribute to this broader understanding within the fish-keeping community.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
And it's a good reminder that the fish themselves are constantly giving us clues about their needs. We just have to, take the time to actually watch them.
Exactly, exactly. So if you're taking notes on this deep dive, here's your big takeaway. Guppies really, really like to feed at the surface.
Surface feeders.
So when you're setting up or maintaining your guppy tank, really think about whether they have enough open surface area to eat comfortably. And Aang's experience with them using those feeding rings and just constantly grazing at the top of the water, that really supports this idea.
Yeah, the evidence is there.
It is. And if we kind of zoom out for a moment, this specific thing about guppies actually speaks to a much bigger principle in animal care in general.
Yeah, it's universal in a way.
It's about understanding and accommodating an animal's natural feeding behaviors.
Right.
That's crucial for their health and their well-being.
Absolutely.
It's not just about giving them food, it's about letting them interact with their food in a way that's natural for them.
Yeah, it's about respecting their instincts.
And this applies to everything, whether you're caring for fish, birds, you name it.
Any creature.
So this brings us to a little something to think about. Think about the animals in your life, pets, or even just animals you see out in nature. Are there any little habits or behaviors you notice that might actually be telling you something about their needs?
Oh, that's a good question.
You know, Aang's observation about guppies and their surface feeding, it's a great example of how much we can learn just by really paying attention.
It's the little things.
So what assumptions might you have about animal care that could be worth, re-examining? Maybe look at it through this lens of careful observation.
Yeah, definitely something to ponder.
It is. It is. Maybe something to think about while you're watching your own fish.
Exactly.
All right. Well, on that note, that wraps up another deep dive. Until next time.
See you then.